कश्मीरी पंडितों के घर। खूबसूरत डल झील से बस 4-5 किलोमीटर दूर, केसर की महक से लबरेज बाजारों से पास ही पश्मीना शालों की दुकान के पीछे छुपे हुए पुराने शहर की तंग गलियों में, झेलम नदी के बूढ़े गले किनारों पर याद और याददाश्त की तारों में उलझे हुए अधझली चिताओं जैसे घर, जो पोस्ट कार्ड पर नहीं बिकते, ना ही फिल्मों में दिखते हैं, पर ये भी तो कश्मीरी है ना। खिड़कियों के टूटे हुए चुभते शीशे पुश्तैनी छतों से रिश्ते हुए पानी की छींटों से नम बूढ़ी यादें आंगन पर कब्जा किए हुए, दीमक लगे मौसम खुद से टकराती हुई धूप ऐसे गुजरती है यहाँ से जैसे रातों के सन्नाटे को चीर मौत सूंघ कर निकली हो। कभी गुजरना कश्मीरी पंडितों के महलों से भी कोई बिलखती हुई कहानी पैर पकड़ लेगी। यतीम खाने में फंसे हुए बच्चे की तरह जिसे न कोई अपनाता है, ना ही इंसाफ दिलाता है, न कोई अपनाता है, न इंसाफ दिलाता है। कश्मीरी पंडितों के घर।
Namaskar all, and welcome to the second session of today's webinar. We just had a very thought-provoking session with quite a few eminent speakers, and I'm still reeling under that impact. In the second session, we have invited some community leaders. For those of us who went through the turbulence of the 1990, we will recall that it was a really hard time for us. We were effectively homeless on the streets, no jobs, no houses, no surety of what's going to happen to our lives. It is during these times that our esteemed community organizations, they held our hand. Without their support then and since then and even now, we would have found ourselves in an even worse situation than we are. So, on that note, I would like to welcome all the community leaders. Some of these organizations have been at the forefront of philanthropic activities. Some have been active in building and restoring temples. Some have tried to revive our almost lost culture and heritage. And in their own ways, they have all sustained us. So on that note, I would first like to invite Ravinder Pandita ji. Before that, I would like to introduce my co-moderator for today, Nirja Sadhu ji. She's the international coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora, and she is the co-host for today. So first of all, welcome to all, and welcome Ravinder Pandita ji. Ravinder Pandita ji needs no introduction. He is the chairperson of Save Sharda Committee. Ravindra Pandita ji, a warm welcome. Namaskar to you. I would start by asking you we heard all these stalwarts in our first session talking about different things. What, in your view, is going to be the way forward for our community? Thank you, Ravindra Pandita ji.
Namaskar and welcome. And once again, very gloomy pain is still there. We are entering 36th year of this exodus. I can't say now, I can't, really put myself where I should put. Am I a displaced person, a victim of genocide, or am I a migrant, or am I a victim of democide, or whatever? I am victim of everything after losing Kashmir. So today, as usual, we have been busy, yes, all through, and we went. I'll first tell you what we did today. We went to PMO office again. We are trying for a meeting with Home Minister, which didn't materialize, and then we hurriedly went to PMO's office, MOS PMO, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and we submitted a memorandum for the long term and the short term needs. Because ultimately we need long term, solutions, not the remedies. Remedy means whatever they are listening to us. हाँ ये कर देंगे वो कर देंगे उसको बता देंगे डीसी को फोन करेंगे those are remedies. Those are like putting band-aids on our wounds. But how to, really recapture and, have the final solutions that are not with them also. And unfortunately, they don't issue their own statements also, which I am too much worried by going and presenting a memorandum, yet another memorandum, 36th memorandum in 36th year, and government doesn't come out with a statement even, official statement that yes, these people had come or this group had come, this organization had come. It's not happening, and I find for the last 2 3 years now they are not entertaining us, even Kashmiri Pandits. So whether now it is the new government at the state, I am terribly disappointed. CM is today here, he is throwing a luncheon for 200 people in Delhi, but there's no word for Kashmiri Pandits. I feel very sorry for that. It's a shameless fellow that what he has been doing, and I have put it on the record in ANI right now. And this is terrible. So, way forward, I have heard the earlier speakers also, yes, a lot of them, particularly Pradeep Dattaji, as he said, कि आप आइए सिविल सर्विसेज ज्वाइन करिए फिर आपकी डिसीजन मेकिंग होगी भाई हमें तो अपना नहीं पता है कि हम जहां जहां पे हैं हम कैसे सरवाइव कर रहे हैं this has been a resilient community, I tell you, and a lot of people are of this view that how you have survived and how you are at the very good positions. Obviously these are old karmas and whatever our forefathers have done. And I still Shapalika ji, I am still wondering for the question, because our historians, Satish Ganjuji or Sushil Pandit ji, wherever we sit with our, intellectuals, so this is our seventh migration. We have been thrown out 6 times earlier on 6 earlier occasions. But why did we go back on 6 occasions so that we were thrown out of the valley on seventh occasion? So what took us back? That answer I don't really get. So मैंने भी बहुत चिंतन इस पे मंथन किया है, मुझे अल्टीमेटली फिर वही लगा जिसपे लोग मुझे कहते हैं कि आप सिर्फ एक ही मुद्दे को लेके बैठे हो कि टेम्पल्स एंड श्राइन्स. Definitely it's I think that which took us back. Otherwise these Muslim kings didn't bribe us, they didn't give us any danda or there was any compulsion of our forefathers to go back to the valley so that we are thrown again. Now this time also we are seeing this is different world, this 21st century we crossed. No, in this present circumstancing, so, throwing out a community which has a 5,100 years of, civilization. And before that, which belonged to the Sharda civilization. They are nowhere to be seen. It's so intricate. Situation is getting worsened and worsened day by day because our existence at the ground level is getting diminished. So I would come straight to the point. You said the way forward. Yes, there are certain organizations who have worked, a lot of organizations who have really worked. That's why we stand up. I appreciate each and every organization, be it for the culture and heritage, be it for our language, be it for our rights, but ultimately for every community you need the three things, basic things: the social empowerment, the economic empowerment, and the political empowerment. Now every time our political empowerment is that yes, we keep quiet, we get 2 MLC seats or 1 MLC seat, and that doesn't matter to them. In the assembly of about 100 people, one Kashmiri Pandit, he has no voice. So this time again, as usual as last time, nothing new is happening by this government. Again, 2 seats have been reserved for us, and still those are unfilled. Today also I discussed with Dr. Jitendra Singh what's happening to those 2 seats. Now, smilingly, if he says that Kashmiri Pandits ही उसमें कुछ कर रहे हैं, that's not a proper reply. So I had to rebuke on that. What is government doing? कभी कोई बोल रहा है कोर्ट केस चल रहा है, spending adjudication because some people have filed court cases. I still believe, I told him, sir, these people should be chosen from the civil society, a political people, and we should be given our voice. And in fact, when this seat in parliament in Rajya Sabha was vacated, this Anglo-Indian seat, why didn't they bother at least to give it to Kashmiri Pandits? Or why don't we fight for it still? We should have a representation both in parliament as well as in assembly. So next is the important thing after these three. These are the long term. Short term, yes, we have discussed with them recently. Mr. R.K. Bhatt is also here. He has also given nice points. Those because I believe those are the points we should work on. Short term and the long term solutions. Now, short term, yes, they should not give us only these remedies. We should have short term solutions also and the long term solutions. And I believe for these temples and shrines, this bill and all that, this will not be passed. This is not so easy. I think we should go for a temples and shrines board, which will be headed by the governor of the state. And we try to, reclaim whatever we can do. In that, the biggest difficulty right now, what we are facing at what I have seen since 2006 on my 15th temple now, the revenue records. The revenue records have been badly tampered. Everything, you can't make it out from that Urdu and that Patwari record what belongs to you or doesn't belong to you. Now, in one of the cases where in this organization, I am the president of AI case also, there's a very good court case going on right now in the High Court at Jammu. That was our original writ petition 477 of 2016. Now, in this, we have the next date of 17th February, next date of hearing. Again, in this, we find that particularly in district Badgam and Gandarbal, they are trying to reconcile the records of migrants because this judgment or this case, if we win, hopefully we should, this will solve at least 50% problem. Our Distress Sale Act, our Migrants Property Act of 1997 and all that. Our people are so scattered and so silent, obviously because of the migration. 35 years have gone. Now we don't find people जिनके यहाँ जिनकी वो जमीन है, संपत्ति है, प्रॉपर्टी है, उनको ढूंढना ही मुश्किल पड़ रहा है. ऐसी स्लो माइग्रेशंस भी अब हो रही हैं. एक तो इस्लामिक जहाद में तो हम भाग ही गए, दूसरा कल्चरल जहाद भी अब दिखने को मिल रहा है जी, इन द सेंस अब हम भाग के जम्मू आ गए मैक्सिमम. अब जम्मू में जब गया पिछली बार, मैं मैक्सिमम मोहल्लों में देख रहा हूँ कि ताले लगे हैं जी कश्मीरी पंडितों के मकानों पे. वो इसलिए लगे हैं क्योंकि अब उनके भी जो बच्चे बालिग हो गए, वो नौकरियों में लग गए जी, वो प्राइवेट नौकरियों में लग गए. कोई बेंगलोर है, कोई विदेश में कहीं कहीं पे है, तो वो क्या करेंगे? वो बुजुर्ग बैठ के, वो भी किसी लड़के या लड़की के यहाँ जा रहे. एंड नाउ दैट सेकंड होम इज आल्सो गॉन. जम्मू में जो हम कह रहे थे जम्मू इज आवर सेकंड होम, अब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वहां से भी जा रहे. तो क्या चीज अब करना चाहिए, कैसे करना चाहिए? वी हैव टू ऑल सिट अंडर वन प्लेटफॉर्म, बिकॉज जो भी सिग्नल्स अभी जा रही हैं, एक मजाक बनाया है इन्होंने गवर्नमेंट्स ने हमारे साथ कि पहला डायलॉग सुनने को मिलता है आप तो 50 तंजीमें हो, आप 50 ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो. भाई हम भी अपना यहाँ से काउंटर करते हैं जी, 50 दीपक जल रहे हैं, 50 रोशनियां हो रही हैं, जितनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. नहीं, दैट इज नॉट द सॉल्यूशन. वी हैव टू कम अंडर वन अम्ब्रेला, frame a memorandum of 10 points or 8 points which are common with each and every organization. I tell you, whenever I have seen memorandum of other organizations also, I find minimum 5-6 points are very, very common, and those 5-6 points should be compiled together and we should go in a group under one umbrella and present it to government at the senior level, because we have people in our community who, yes, who have connection in the power corridors. They will also exert, they will also help. The presentation is very difficult. Recently we had some minor issue of this which is affecting, yes, definitely about 20% of the population, Kashmiri Pandit community in Delhi NCR. Some bunglings are also there, some shortcomings are also there, but genuine people also get affected once certain things happen. So the cash assistance and all that has been stopped since April. Now people went to Dr. Jitendra Singh last week. He had called a meeting, so about 200 Kashmiri Pandits had gathered there. He had thrown out a lunch also for us. Now I see We are not cohesive again there. We are not able to explain the problem. The basic funda, 1, 2, 3. It should be simple, 2, 3 points. Explain to the other end, to the minister concerned, and ask for the reply. सर इसमें क्या करेंगे आप, कब तक करेंगे? अब हम आपस में ही ऐसे करने लगे, कोई क्या एक्सप्लेन कर रहा है, कोई क्या कर रहा है, अब कहीं पे कोई जलसा कर रहा है, कोई तंजीम, कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हमारी वो कुछ और एंगल से कर रही है। हमारा एम एक ही होता है पर तरीकेकार कोई डिफरेंट डिफरेंट है। अनलेस एंड अंटिल वी कम अंडर वन अम्ब्रेला, देयर शुड बी एन एपेक्स बॉडी। वो गवर्नमेंट को भी कई बार कई लोगों ने बताया, आप जैसे पहले थी हमारी एक एपेक्स बॉडी टू यू नो उन आपसे बात करने के लिए, गवर्नमेंट से जो वार्तालाप करने के लिए कश्मीरी पंडितों की एक एपेक्स बॉडी बनाई, उस पे भी वो मुझे लगता है कुछ नहीं करेंगे। ये देख रहे हैं कि किसी तरह से इनको अब ऐसे ही नेशनल पॉलिसी में आके, जैसे मैं बार बार आजकल रिसेंटली बता रहा हूँ, दीज नेक्स्ट 5 years आर वेरी क्रूशियल। वी आर लूजिंग आवर स्टेलवार्ट्स बैडली। रोज मेरा मन खराब होता है एक एक ऑबिचरी देख के। हमारे पास समय ज्यादा नहीं है। वी शुड थिंक सीरियसली। जो भी हमारी जनरेशन है वो आगे को आए। जैसे यहाँ मेरे बीच बैठे हैं हमारे सीनियर मटू साहब, ऐसे ऐसे दिग्गज जिनको पता है कुछ क्या हुआ है और क्या होना चाहिए। So time is running out fast, and I hope I'll conclude because I don't want to speak too much on this. Everybody knows what has happened त्रासदी के बारे में। अब लैंग्वेज की प्रॉब्लम एक और है जी, कल्चर और लैंग्वेज की। यस, दैट प्रिजर्वेशन ऑफ हेरिटेज एंड कल्चर इज द नीड ऑफ द आवर। और हमें अपने टेम्पल्स एंड श्राइन्स को, जो मैं सभी मौला कमिटीज को साउथ कश्मीर में पर्टिकुलरली सबको बताते जा रहा हूँ, इंडिविजुअली भी, भैया अपना अपना रिक्लेम करिए। जितने भी बुजुर्ग लोग हैं या मेरी कोई सहायता चाहिए, उसमें रेक्लेम करके दीवार बंदी करके रेवेन्यू रिकॉर्ड क्लियर रखे, ताकि आपका नेक्स्ट 100 years के लिए आपकी प्रॉपर्टी दिखे वहां पे, ये जी हिंदू प्रॉपर्टी है। बाकी वहां के नौजवान नस्ल को कुछ नहीं पता है। नौजवान आज की डेट में ये कोई कम वक्फा नहीं है, 35 साल इज ए वेरी बिग गैप, एंड दिस यंगस्टर्स नो नथिंग। ये अब बेचारे थोड़ा सोशल मीडिया से जो भी नैरेटिव इनको बताया जा रहा है, तो ये कई लोग जो है 50% उस नैरेटिव की तरफ है। जगमोहन ने भगाया इनको, जगमोहन ने आवाज दी, और कुछ 50% परेशान है, अपने आप से निकले मजे में बैठे। कश्मीरी पंडित की कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। तो वो नैरेटिव और इकोसिस्टम जो है वो ठीक करना इतना आसान नहीं है। मैं फारदेस्ट विलेज में भी देखा कि ये जो इंजीनियर रशीद है, इसने एमपी वाली सीट कैसे निकाली, हाउ डिड ही विन सिटिंग इन जेल। आई आस्क्ड मेनी पीपल जो मेरे बड़े क्लोज भी है वहां पे, भैया आपने किसको वोट डाला, आपने क्यों नहीं डाला पीपल्स कॉन्फ्रेंस को या दूसरे किसी को, चलो बीजेपी को भी छोड़ो, किसको क्यों डाला, किस खुशी में? तो दे ऑल सेड इट वाज सिंपैथी, सिंपैथी वेव। तो सिंपैथी क्या थी? दे वांटेड टू सी इंजीनियर रशीद। नाउ सेकंड टाइम असेंबली इलेक्शंस हुए, इंजीनियर रशीद को टैग लग गए, बीजेपी का आदमी है, कोई भी सीट नहीं निकाल पाया या एक आदमी सीट निकाली। तो उनका इकोसिस्टम बड़ा जबरदस्त चल रहा है वहां। जो असेंबली इलेक्शन में किसी मौलवी ने बताया, जगह जगह जाके हर एक मौलवी ने ये बताया कि बीजेपी को किसी तरह से हराना है, तो आप किसी को भी वोट डालिए। सो नेक्स्ट ऑल्टरनेटिव वाज एनसी, सो दे वोटेड फॉर एनसी। अब अनफॉर्चुनेटली एनसी भी मैनिफेस्टो में एक फुल पेज लिख के बैठा है कि कश्मीरी पंडित्स का रिहेबिलिटेशन एंड रिटर्न। ऐसे पीडीपी ने भी एक दिया है। पीडीपी तो एक स्टेप और आगे पड़ी। पीडीपी ने तो महबूबा मुफ्ती ने एक पेज निकाला कि फुल फ्लेज्ड पिलग्रिमेज टू शारदा पीठ इन पीओके। पर जब फिर ये आते हैं इक्तिदार में, जब ये पावर में आते हैं, तब कौन सी बात ये करते हैं। तो आज एटलीस्ट दिल्ली में है, इनको मिलना चाहिए। ये अलग बात है, ये अपना देंगे उसका बयान नहीं जी, वो जर्नलिस्ट के लिए था नहीं। कश्मीरी पंडित भी यहाँ बैठे थे, आज 19 जनवरी का साने याद कर रहे थे जगह जगह पे, तो डेफिनेटली सीएम की नोटिस में ये सब था, बट ही डिडंट बॉदर टू टॉक टू एनीवन। तो उन्होंने ना कोई स्टेटमेंट ऐसे दिया अभी तक का। तो एवरीबडी इज एंजॉयिंग। हमें कैसे एग्जर्ट करना है, मैं फिर वही दोहराऊंगा लास्ट पॉइंट टू कंक्लूड। यस, वी हैव कम अंडर वन अम्ब्रेला विथ द कंपोजिट मेमोरेंडम, विद वन कंसोलिडेटेड मेमोरेंडम। भले उसमें नीचे हम सब ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का नाम लिखे 50 का, पर मेमोरेंडम शुड बी मिनिमम जितने स्टेप्स है हमारे 1 2 3 4 5 पॉइंट्स, एंड वी शुड गो टू द concerned minister. We should meet home minister and the prime minister and ask them to issue their side of the official statement what they are thinking about that. तो अभी तक ये नहीं
Thank
हो
you.
रहा है, तो मैं चाहता हूँ यहाँ भी सब ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल हेड बैठे तो शायद ये बात चले। बाकी जो मंदिरों का है पॉइंट वो मैं करता जाऊंगा, जो जो मुझे दिख रहा है जहाँ पे मैं कर रहा हूँ क्वाइटली, एंड आई हैव शोन द वे कि कैसे रेक्लेम हो सकता है 75 साल के बाद भी एक एलियन लैंड में, जहां मैं कहीं नहीं गया था, पहली मर्तबा गया हूँ। गवर्नमेंट चुप रही है, गवर्नमेंट ने कोई हेल्प नहीं करी है मेरी उसमें। मैं अभी भी
Yeah.
गवर्नमेंट को बोल रहा हूँ कि
जी जी
आप से
थैंक यू।
टॉयलेट
Yes.
ब्लॉक नहीं बन पाया वहां पे, और आप मुझे क्या हेल्प बोल रहे हो? बट उनका चुप रहना भी एक हेल्प ही है, ये मैं मानता हूँ। अगर ये कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट होती शायद सेंटर में, ये मंदिर भी नहीं बना होता जी, शारदा टेम्पल, विच वी सी एज द सिंपल प्रतिबिंब हमारा है शारदा सिविलाइजेशन का। इससे भी काफी हद तक कोई चीजें सॉल्व हो सकती। धन्यवाद बहुत
Thank
बहुत,
you. Thank you.
नमस्कार।
No, thank you. Dhanyavad Ravindra ji. I would like to invite Nitya ji to introduce our next speaker, who is from United States.
Yeah. Thank you, Shifalika ji. Thank you, Ravinder ji. That was quite an insight, you being on the ground and working towards the rehabilitation of temples and everything. Thank you so much. Now, our next speaker, Upar Kotruji, is a young and dynamic leader and a newly elected president of our Kashmiri Overseas Association. Upharji is a very passionate community worker, very actively involved in KOA for years. KOA, as all of you know, is a success story of the community and has been in service for decades, providing support in terms of scholarships, medical assistance, disaster situations, and continuing to work towards the preservation of our culture and heritage. So, Upharji, I will give you 5 minutes to talk about the exodus and how you see what we are going to do towards the cause that we are fighting for.
Thank you so much, Nitarji, and thank you, Shafalika ji, for inviting me to this esteemed panel. Namaskar, Sarni, to all the viewers. And great points, Ravinder ji. I think you touched upon some very important and relevant aspects. As I was reflecting on the significance of this day, it took me down to the memory lane of events that took place 35 years ago. At the same time, my thoughts extended beyond the events of 1989 and early 90s to the centuries of enduring hostility our community has faced. Our histories were filled with countless stories of sacrifice and martyrdom, and many of these sacrifices are not just limited to our community alone. I mean, brave souls across India have made ultimate sacrifice to protect the land and people of Kashmir, and we owe so much to these brave souls. But at the same time, despite all the sadness and disappointment that fills me, there is also a profound pride that we have risen time and time again against all odds. And the journey of our community is of unwavering spirit. We have faced unimaginable hardships, yet we continue to stand tall and rebuild and create new paths. But while many of us have flourished, there are still many people who have still not recovered from what happened 35 years ago. And Ravinderji touched upon it. Every time we lose a KP soul, an elderly KP soul, we lose that connection with our homeland. I mean, those who grew up in Kashmir, like many of us here on this call, feel a direct connection. But the same, our next generation, who is born and brought outside, will not have the same feeling, and that's understandable. So, to your point, Nirja ji, in terms of what are the challenges ahead of us and, where we need to prioritize our efforts. So I feel the biggest challenge ahead of us is how do we inculcate the same feeling of belongingness, the same sense of identity to the next generation? And there is no overnight solution. I mean, some of the challenges that we have on the ground, as Ravinderji was also touching upon, these may be effort which will span maybe multiple years, sometimes decades, or sometimes even beyond generations. So it's extremely important to engage the next generation to carry forward this legacy, to carry forward our fight for justice. And in my mind, I mean, there are 3 areas where we need to meaningfully engage them. I mean, first and foremost, we're all distributed across the globe. So we must do everything that we can do as a community to retain our culture in everyday life, know our history, retain our rituals, celebrate our heroes, language, music, festivals. I mean, that's one that's extremely important. But at the same time, I think it is time for us to reconnect with our ancestral homeland. See, we have this connection because of our memories. It is time for us to build new memories with our kids and youth. We must start visiting back. I know there is a sentiment in Kashmir, hey, because it brings back some of those memes. But I think the time has come to move beyond that. And the third important aspect is how do we engage our younger generation to make them part of the process to uplift the underprivileged. I think there is still a lot of help that our community needs to help them recover. And I think we have to make our next generation sort of make them part of the process. So these will be my three key focus areas for KW, essentially make it relevant to the next generation and have them develop this deep sense of connection with our homeland and our people. Thank you so much, Neeraj. Back to you.
Excellent, Uparji. So very well said. And I think your approach to bring in the next generation youth to connect with our roots is very, very, very important, because as middle-aged people, we are doing what we can, but we are not going to survive for long. So we have to definitely work towards that. Thank you so much, Upaji, for being here. I know you have another session to attend, so you may please take leave and continue with that. Thank you. Our next speaker is Dilip Mattuji, who is President Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch. He doesn't need an introduction. His organization has been very, very instrumental in guiding young minds towards preservation of our rich culture and heritage. So I would request Dilip Mattuji to kindly unmute and express his views. Dilipji, is he not here?
So I think Dilipji is having some connection issues. So before he joins, I would like to invite the next speaker, that is Ram Avtar Bhattji. Are you there? Ram Avtar ji, आप unmute कीजिए. So Ram Avtar ji is the president of the Youth All India Kashmiri Samaj. He is a well-known socio-political activist of the community. He has been spearheading the PM's return package and rehabilitation package, besides working at the ground zero in Kashmir Valley. So I believe he was one of the key workers behind the PM's employment package. He's also the Secretary General of Temples and Shrines of South Kashmir. And I think this is just a very brief introduction. Knowing Ram Avtar ji for many years, he is doing much more than this. But I will stop the introduction at that. I have personally seen Ram Avtar ji working at ground zero, and that is what is the need of the hour. So Ram Avtar ji, you wanted to ask, or I wanted to ask you about the way forward, and how do you think the community is going to go from here?
Thank you, Nirja ji and Shafali ji. We have been, speaking since morning at different forums, because today is it is a black day in our history, what has happened with our community and how we have been fighting for our rights for last more than 35 years. So first I would like to I would like to pay Shraddhanjali to all our martyrs who has given sacrifices in the Kashmir Valley for the nation and for our community as well. I have not much to say about what should be our way forward, but my only request to our community organizations will be, unless everybody is always putting one direct question on our head that you are not united, which is absolutely a wrong notion we have given to everyone, that we are not united. We are of course united. The moment we left Kashmir, we were Hindus, we were Kashmiri Pandits, we were Brahmanas, and during last 35 years we are putting our all efforts like this Pandit which we are supposed to do for the nation. We are continuously doing that part. We have not surrendered our this nation's contribution, which we are doing all together. And importantly, we were there, India. Kashmiri Pandits were there as a India, and they were targeting India at that point of time. But unfortunately, the people who were at the helm of affairs, who are the power corridors of this nation, they have never treated us the way they should treat us. We are still refugees. We are living exiled life, and this is going on. Nobody is taking us serious. I have been telling every time that nobody is going to help us unless we are not one. We are one, but we need to give a impression. We need to do something which really count us that we are one. For that matter, I propose that the way GKPD and other organizations are doing for last so many years, that we need to show that we are one, which is not possible unless we will form a joint action committee of some like-minded organizations and like-minded people. अगर हम इसमें सक्सेस हो गए to represent unity, कई टाइम से चल रहा, and we are not getting any success out of it. But if a joint action force can be formed, I propose on this particular day that Kashmiri Pandit should form a joint action committee which will engage Bharat Sarkar and the state administration as well to start dialogue with us. Then we can put some long-term and short-term issues before the governments. And it is very unfortunate when few days back only Lieutenant Governor of the state is giving the statement that we should not treat Kashmiri Pandits killing as something unique and something different. It is as good as others were killed in the Kashmir Valley. This is how we are being treated in Jammu and Kashmir as well as from the power corridors from Delhi. So if joint action committee is being formed, then we can jointly ask to the government of India to form an apex committee. Ravinderji was also mentioning that we should have earlier at early stages there were an apex committee which was headed by the chief minister of the state. But this point of time, since the state is converted into the union territory, so we should jointly demanding for the apex committee, which should be headed by the union home minister only, and state chief minister and the LG others can be the member of that organ, that apex committee, so that there will be a direct conversation between the community and the government of India. And the ecosystem and the bureaucracy, they are not probably representing our miseries the way we are actually facing. So our bad impressions are being given by the bureaucracy to the power corridors. If there would be a direct dialogue with the Bharat Sarkar and the representatives of Kashmiri Pandits through this action committee, that can help us for longer run. And the points which we should really forward, that we should directly ask now government of India to announce roadmap plan for the comprehensive return policy for Kashmiri Pandits. Let them say whatever they want to say. Let them show something on ground. When PM's rehabilitation package was announced in 2008 April, there were 9 components of the package, and community by and large accepted only employment package. The rest 8 points were rejected by the community itself. So if any proposal is coming from the government and that this is the roadmap for your return, let community deliberate upon it. If it is acceptable to us, we can move forward. If it is not acceptable to us, then we can put our own pointers that can be incorporated in their proposal. And number 2, obviously, there should be a political empowerment within the community, which we are always lacking, because we don't have any representative in the lower forms or at the up to parliamentarian They have, see, the unfortunate part is the delimitation commission has recommended 2 MLA seats for the Kashmiri Pandits, but for last 6-7 months that 2 vacancies are not being filled. Nobody is worried about it. When earlier this election was come out, it was talk of the town that 5 people or 2 people from the migrants from the displaced communities, but nobody is touching that part now. It is 5 months has been elapsed, but we don't have, they don't have given us that mandate to talk in the lower house. So there should be some reservations from lower house up to Parliament of India, so that our maximum people can participate, but they have to reserve some seats for this community. And obviously there are so many short-term policies also which can be focused upon, like our, these overaged youths are suffering. Then relief holders they don't have their enhancement of relief is settled pending for last years together. So my end of my concluding this speech will be this, honestly, that we should have a number 1 action committee which will have direct talk with the government of India. Then we can come up with our own pointers, and Bharat Sarkar can come up with own pointers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ram Avatarji. That's a very good idea, having a joint action committee, because a lot of what's been going on is mostly tokenism at the moment, like you said. So on that note, we will invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is Ashwani ji. Ashwani Bhatt-ji is the president of Kashmiri Pandit Association, Mumbai. Like all of us here, he is a refugee from Srinagar. He left the place at a very young age, but we are very proud that he is now opened his own company, and he's the chief executive of a multi-billion rupee company in Mumbai. He is also on the faculty of Art of Living Foundation, which is doing a lot of work in India and abroad. So thank you, Ashwani ji, for joining us today. Like we take the conversation forward, would you like to present some views on what's been going on and what we should do in future?
Yes, certainly. Thank you so much at the outset, Shafalika ji and Surinder Kaulji. Let me first pay homage to the martyrs. And let me also tell you, today we had a Varshik Havan going, and I'm just coming from there only. We had about 800, 900 people with us. And we had also a great program about the Holocaust Day also. As long as the topic is concerned, I'm sorry, my throat is not so good. See, the aspirations for justice and recognition for political dispensation of persecuted community like us is an important and crucial to address the concerns and grievances of the community. The extent to which we'll be heard and our aspirations for justice will be fulfilled depends on various factors, such as the political climate, government policies, collective attitudes, and the actions taken by the community itself. Efforts towards reconciliation, dialogue, and inclusive governance is necessary to address historical injustice. It is important for our political leaders to engage in the meaningful discussions, promote understanding, and work towards a more inclusive and equitable society. It's my hope that our community find a platform to be heard and the justice is pursued in the fair and equitable manner. Here, I would like to add also that as long as genocide is concerned, let's make it a statement that we will never forgive and will never forget it. And well, more or less, I agree and remain on the same page as convened by the eminent speakers here, the way forward to the ethnic cleansing and genocide of Kashmiri Pandits. The steps and the grassroots points towards the positive and successful way forward as discussed and conveyed by the other members in the forum are majorly to facilitate reconciliation. It's very important that we initiate inclusive dialogue between Kashmiri Pandits and other stakeholders in the region, including local communities and civil society groups. Then we need to promote representation, ensure educate political representation of Kashmiri Pandits in legislative and administrative bodies to voice their concerns effectively. Then next step, which is always there, we are always talking about what government is doing and all that. So I firmly believe that we should have our own financial support. We should provide financial packages for rebuilding homes, businesses, and community centers. Then that is one way we can provide the employment opportunities to the people. Then cultural preservation, as we all know, the identity is defined on our culture, the rich culture, which is as old as 5,000 years. So the heritage protection and the cultural preservation is very important, which needs to be really think about and addressed. Then promotion, which is also in the same lines, promotion of traditions and all that. Then the way forward is nothing more than as resettlement infrastructure. We need to have something wherein we can build some cluster housing. I was just hearing the eminent speakers in between also, like they were saying there's a huge land somewhere in some areas in Srinagar, and we can always pitch on those places, and we can't wait that the government is going to provide us all the support and all that. We have to start something of our own. So that cluster housing, maybe we start with a population of about 2,000, 5,000 people. That can also really help us out. And then, we can always do some trust building initiatives, because it's very important. We have to, after all, live there only. So, with the other communities in the area, we should really work on building the trust among themselves. Then, of course, this is a very old issue, which is not being, taken up by the government, is that legal and administrative support for the property restitution and fast-track justice, which is really, something which we have to really work on. And ultimately, of course, the security assurance is what is there, but we, as we know, that the situation today is not that bad. We can always have some robust security measures and, ensure a strong security framework to protect, Kashmiri Pandits from violence of intimidation and other things. And ultimately, the pain of displacement remains unhealed. The return and rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits is a deeply political issue and requires a comprehensive and sensitive approach. It's a time to recognize our geopolitical aspirations and work towards the creation of a separate homeland within the Kashmir. I was hearing some eminent speaker today saying we can rename Kashmir as Kashmir Nagar, and which can ensure the safety, dignity, and our rights. And one more important thing, which is very much required to be always keep in buzz, is that the recognition as internally displaced people and ethno-religious minority. We must be officially acknowledged as internally displaced and given the status of an ethno-religious minority to secure our rights and protections. The challenge is what I find today. I was talking to my youth today again, because ultimately you all will agree with me. The age group, what we are falling now, like me, I was in teens when I was displaced, and today I'm in 50s. There's hardly another 8 or 10 years when, I can still go and do action and all that. But the youngsters today, the people who were that time either not born or they were just born, they have a different perception in life. They are well off today, and they are not bothered about what they mean for the Kashmir and their homeland and rehabilitation and resettlement. They're happy with their own good jobs, their own livelihood, and their own other things. So we need to really focus on that issue. It's a burning issue, and we must really try our best at the regional levels to really do a lot of community gatherings to bring them back on the main stream, and tell them that what are our roots and all that. That's very, very important thing to do. And lastly, what I feel that this is the time now for us, all of us, to do and have a common vision, have a common platform. And yes, of course, I don't also think that we have some differences between our own regional committees, but one thing is lagging. I feel that we need to have really a leader. We need to have a common platform, common constitution, common agenda. That's something very important, and I think all these regional committees need to really focus much on that and sort it out. So I will end my talk by saying that we should really do something, and this is the time. Either we do or die, or now or never. So with that, thank you so much. I think I have just given my points. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Ashwini ji. Nirja ji, would you like to introduce the rest of the panel, please?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Ashwini ji. Those were very pertinent points, and I think all of us agree to the same point, that we have to come under one umbrella, or jointly present and do something now or never. Our next speaker is Mr. R.K. Mattu, a chairman, Kashmiri Hindu Culture Welfare Trust, Bangalore. And Mattuji has been quite instrumental in preserving culture, heritage, helping our students in Bangalore, helping them settling down. He's been in the forefront for decades now as an activist and as a community worker. So, Mattuji, please.
Thank you, Nirja-ji and Shavalika-ji, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this issue after 35 years now have passed. So I have not lost the hopes. I'm still hopeful, and we this wound of 19th of January 1990 should remain open and should not heal till we achieve our goal. So the fact of this thing is that in any welfare state, the government has to be very, very proactive. Or if they want, they can do wonders. And if they don't want, they will not do anything. Now we have seen in the last 35 years, successive governments have been ignoring us slowly and slowly and slowly. And the last nail was the statement of the governor recently, who says that it's releasing of or the genocide, which we call as genocide, and government has yet to recognize this as a genocide, which we have been demanding for a long time. They said that he said that it has nothing to do with the religion, whereas the fact is that it is everything to do with the religion. And if such statements come after 35 years in exile, and what can we expect from this kind of government? Because he is acting on behalf of the center. So what has happened? We had a lot of hopes that Modi ji will come, and even we have hopes. We should not leave hopes on him. But what has happened in the last 10 years or 11 years, they're also taking their steps backward, and they are also trying to ignore us, and they are not taking our things seriously. Because if there was some other community, they would have definitely done something about it. But why can't they do anything about us if they are very this thing? After the abrogation of Article 370 and all that, things have improved there now. Even local people are coming out with statements and other things. And if we wait for the security and the situation in Kashmir to improve completely, we will never go back to Kashmir. So we should also be proactive along with the government. If they say that the things are improving, so we should take advantage of it and impress upon the government that whatever you are doing in Jagati or whatever you are doing in this thing, why don't you start? And you are talking about housing to poor, housing to so many people and all that. After all, here is a community who have been in exile, which has been in exile for the last 35 years. Why can't you build houses for them? To begin with, they should build houses for the Pakka houses for all the government employees who are working there, and give it to them and tell them that if you stay there back, it will be yours. There will be some incidents here and there, but let us, because things have improved, we have to work on ground now. See, first 10 years, we were struggling and we wanted to survive of exodus. And then second 10 years, we started settling down here and there and our children and all that. And now we're in the third decade of this thing, or the rather fourth decade. So time has come when all of us should think about it. Two generations. Now this is the last generation we've seen the real exodus, a real genocide on ground. So we should now get together. Money is not a problem. Economy is all well off, and we should start now working from Kashmir. Whatever conferences, we should have regular conferences there, take people, ask them to come as a yatra, as a pilgrimage, come there and start holding conferences and all that, because things have improved there, and that will give a different this thing. One. Second thing is we have to have and open the lines with the center government now, because enough is enough. They have not been doing anything, and every day we have to go to them and tell them that what is that they have done. And if they don't listen to us, we have to take second line of this thing. We have to go against them. We have to tell people, we have to tell the entire world, hold conferences in each and every state and say that, see how they are ignoring us when they are doing so much for other communities, like different castes and all that. They are very much worried about it. Why can't they do anything about us? Because we did not depend on them. We came up on our own, and we are now ruling in every corner of the world, in every corner of the globe. See, Kashmiri Pandit is doing very well. Now we need immediately all our people who are in Jammu to go back and let them make zones and make some houses for them, and ask them to be there instead of being in Jagdi and all that. Then second step should be that let them start some factories and all that, wherein they can work nearby that area and all that, so that we will give them as small, we can protect them also. And so slowly and steadily they will go and buy their lands, and they'll go back to their places. As Pandit have said that we should all those people who are still owning the land there should put compound walls around it, so that people should know that this land belongs to somebody else. Now, recently, Supreme Court has also come out with the order saying that where the registration has not happened, it is this is in context with Waqf properties, but this can apply to us also. And J&K is now a union territory which is totally integrated with the rest of India, and we should make use of it. And we cannot sit and wait for the government to act, because if we keep mum, if we don't raise our voice, government will never take care of us. They will say, okay, they will keep on postponing and all that. I think it's the right time now. We are economically all right. People are there all over the world. We can raise our funds. We should have a corpus fund. We should raise a corpus fund, an apex body, which will continuously put force on pressure on the government. Because without government, we cannot move anything. We cannot go on our own. We cannot buy lands on our own. We cannot go and live privately unless and until we have the patronage of the government. So government has to be moved, and we have to influence the government. We have to have pressure groups which will go to the government and tell them, after all, what sin we have done. We are living in exile for the last 35 years. Please tell us. You are announcing schemes after schemes. You are doing so much of work. You are spending crores and crores, lakhs and lakhs of crores on development in Kashmir. You are making tunnels. You are making everything. For whom? We are the original inhabitants. Hamare liye bhi kuch karo. So this has to have a concerted effort. It can only emerge from Delhi, and you have to take representation from all over, so that we form a consolidated group and put pressure on the government. See, as far as Bangalore is concerned, as far as South is concerned, we are trying to protect our culture. We are doing so much these things. We are helping but we cannot take it forward from Bangalore or from Hyderabad or from Mumbai or from some other place. There can be a supporting staff, but it has to be necessarily people from our own community, people from Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir. And we have to hold a lot of conferences there and all that, and openly expose the government that they have not done anything for us. Now time has come, and we should openly go in the channel that say that the Modi government has also not done anything for us, while they are only concentrating on their vote banks. So these are certain things, which now time has come ripe. We cannot now protect. Though full faith in Modi, and Modi is doing wonders, and he is trying to protect our country. So let him protect the country also, but at the same time, If he protects the country, Kashmir will be safe. If Kashmir is safe, then he should think about us also. So this is what I want. I don't want to take much of your time because it's too late already. We started too late. So these are my points, and we have to work on that. And unless and until we get together, we will not be able to achieve this. This is time has come. We have to be very vocal, and we have to be very open and call a spade a spade. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matuji. Obviously, again, so many pertinent points. We all know it. Yet we are struggling to get this done, get their attention, and I wonder why it's not happening. But our resolve is completely strong. We are not going to give up till we reclaim our land. Our next speaker, Sanjay Ganjuji, ex-president of Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch. For decades, he has been in the forefront as an activist, fighting for the community causes, and he's still there working towards it. So, Sanjay ji, please share your thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you, Nirja ji. Thank you, Shifalika ji. Thank you, Dr. Surinder Kaul, for taking this initiative of organizing a web-oriented, discussion on 19th January. The day I remember on 1990, I think 8/8/15, we were having dinner, and at the same time, the loudspeakers from mosques started blaring, and they started, appealing Kashmiri Muslims to come out and gather on roads, come to mosques. It was a pitch dark night. There was no electricity. Immediately, soon after that, Kashmiri Muslims, went up to their roof, and with long sticks, if all of us know, in Kashmir, all roofs are tin, covered by tin. So all roofs were started beating on different crossings. They started burning tires. Droves and droves of people came out shouting slogans, Nalai Takbir, Allahu Akbar. Asgece Kashir Bato Bagert Batnamsan. Then the telephone lines started, telephones started ringing. Calls from all relatives, friends from different parts of the valley. The same situation everywhere. At times, stones were thrown on Kashmiri houses. A fearful night. All through the night, this happened. There were many occasions where the demonstrators went in front of the Kashmiri Pandit houses just to scare them and tell them that we can enter, you are now at our mercy. We can enter your home. We can kill you. We can rape your daughters. And many houses, I remember, they brought their lady folks of their home to the top of their house on their upper floor, keeping them ready in case of any eventuality. Just throw yourself from the third floor or fourth floor and kill yourself, and don't get caught by any protesters, and don't get so that was the situation all through. So that is what we faced on 19 January. This we need to remember. And this is an occasion when we need to remember the genocide we faced, the martyrs of our community who were killed brutally, the rapes that were done on our community girls. We need to remember those lanes from where we come from, the temples we used to, offer our prayers in Kashmir. We need to remember those lakes, those mountains, those valleys, those trees, those fruits, the food. We also need to protest, raise our voice against the present dispensation or whatever dispensation is there in the government. and remind them that we have still not got any resolution for our problems. We have not yet been given justice. This is the day when we need to remember about our culture and propagate that among our next generation and our kids. This is the day when we need to remember what we have gone through and how we need to move forward and how we need to remain active as a community to fight for our cause. So my point is that Kashmiri Pandits, we are a minuscule community, a minority community. We perhaps cannot be a vote bank through which you can become a priority for government to resolve your issues. They can. So our elections is not a mode through which we can maybe perhaps that can be one, but it's not the ultimate, pathway through which we can address our problems. I think we as a community have to understand how we can become a force, how we can pressurize government of the day through other means, maybe not electoral, but maybe through some other means, and we can create our strength. So I always believe that we need to engage with our own community influencers, be these in different areas who shine in different segments of life, whether it is academics, whether it is bureaucracy, whether it is business, whether it is art, whether it is culture, whether it is sports, whether it is social media. We need to engage with such influencers of our community and mobilize them, convince them, bring them together, and engage them in our fight for justice, so that they raise our voice. They, for if two, if a person like me, even if 200 people like Sanjay Ganju raise their voice, I don't think nobody will listen it. One Anupam Kher can create a lot of, can make a lot of difference. So that is how we need to, engage with thousands of such influencers, so that they become our force multiplier and put our things across. So at the same time, we also need to work on our own community. We also need to, cultivate that, sense of being a Kashmiri Pandit among our own kids. I remember, I know some of the Kashmiri Muslims who were studying with me. They are now settled in different parts of the world. But on Facebook, I watch them. They are more grounded. They are more connected with their culture and religion than our own community. Or perhaps they have those, values, those, that discipline comes in their, is ingrained in their culture, that ingrained in their religion. But unfortunately, we have to. I remember, you know, a Muslim family in Karachi. I've been there in year 2001. I happened to visit a Kashmiri, a Muslim from Mumbai who was a refugee, and I went to his home for some purpose. I had to go to some area where he was living, so he took me to his home. So he made me sit in his drawing room while he went inside to inside the washroom. Two of his kids came out, very small, I think 6, 7 years old. The moment they came to know that I'm a Hindu from India, they literally misbehaved me. They literally abused me. So
Wow.
that is the kind of that sense their parents had given to their kids. I don't think any Hindu who has migrated to India from Pakistan of his age will have that kind of a sentiment in their mind.
Right.
So whether it is good or bad, but I think Kashmiri Pandit kids should also at least have this memory ingrained in them, or in those incidents ingrained in them, that they understand where they come from and what we have gone through. Then only this fight can continue. Otherwise, another 20 years, 30 years, this fight will die down, and because this generation goes and off goes our struggle. So we can see in that in our other community members who have come out of Kashmir long ago, and I think their disconnect in their present generation is almost complete. So we need to work on those, particular issues. Then only we have to prepare ourselves for a long struggle and use the present day, means to fight our battle, and get justice. So I think I have taken too long a time, but and it is already 10:36. So I close my points just here. And thank you once again, Shifalika ji and Nirja ji, for having me in your panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. That obviously the initial starting point of the horrifying night of 19th, the account that you gave, it still gives me goosebumps and shivers, because I have lived that, and that can never go away from our mind. Yet we may have come a long way, but that's unforgettable. So thank you so much for
Nirjaji, it looks like Nirjaji, it looks like Dilip Matuji is able to join now. Welcome, Dilip Matuji. Dilip Matuji is the president of Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch. Dilip ji, great to have you back. I think you had some connection issues, but the floor is all yours.
Namaskar. Today again we are on remembering our carnage, the day that happened in 19 January 1990, and 35 years on, we are still discussing the same thing. We are still relating our miseries. We are again relating our tales of travesty. And unfortunately, all these 35 years, we have just been falling deaf on the ears to whom we want to address. The dispensation be at the center, dispensation be at the state, the bureaucratic level, or the judiciary. We have not got any response from any of them. I think this today, after 35 years, this we have to reconcile with ourselves, that gradually during these 35 years, we have rendered ourselves almost unrelented, we have just rendered ourselves useless, because all the governments that be in order, or the administrations that be in order, do not think it necessary to consider us in any way, on political, on administrative, or any other form. In 35 years, all that we got from the government was those PM package employees, which, if I am allowed to say, is a bonded labor job. They have been given a treatment which no other organization, no other civil service rules allows to do. And today we are looking still for the government to do something for us. I think today we should reconcile that enough is enough. Government at any level is not going to do anything for us, because we do not follow to their vote bank politics. We do not matter as far as their administrative issues are concerned. Whenever a decision is taken at the state or the central level, none of the KP organizations, or for that matter any capable individual or intellectual or a scientist or anybody for that matter, is taken into consideration. This is absolute apathy towards this community. And we have had, of course, as many of my speakers have been saying, we have had a lot of hopes with Modi ji doing a lot of things. Yes, he has done a lot of things geographically for the state, and he has brought economic conditions on a scale now. But what about the Kashmiri Hindus? We have always been sold. We have been sold for political purposes. We have been sold for politics, for vote banks, for creating votes, for creating narratives for the elections. And when it comes to delivering for the community, we have not been getting anything except negligence. And with the recent remarks passed by the Lieutenant Governor, you can understand how the dispensation thinks even today. Today, I think we must consider that we have to come up as Jews. Enough हो गया कि we are time and again being told you are not united. Why we are not united? What is wrong? In every society, there are multiple organizations. There is not one single organization in Kashmir. There is no single organization in Delhi. Even in political parties, there are n number of political parties. Why Kashmiri Pandits are being singled out, not united? What does that unity mean for these dispensations who are asking us these questions? All these organizations for all these years have been talking about the same thing. All that we have been wanting is a graceful rehabilitation in the valley. What is wrong with that? Why does that require a unity for any person in the organization who are responsible for creating such things? Why do the bureaucrats need such things? Why do the politicians of the day need such things? We must understand that since we are not politically viable force for them, they do not feel it relevant. They still think that they can appease the majority community where from the votes come. This is another, I think, the path that is being followed today by the BJP or the central government is not much different from what has been happening for last 70 years. We have to understand that as a community, we have to stand off our own. The time has come that we have to tell the government, you be what you are. We will stand up of our own. We will create our own Kashmir. We reclaim our own Kashmir in whatever ways we mean to. And for that, we'll have to ignite this issue to the ultimate till we achieve the goal. We have already lost 2 generations, and the last generation, which we are today, we are feeling helpless. And when we talk about involving the youth, what do we tell the youth? What have they to get from Kashmir? So we need to reclaim. We have to come up. We have to come up reclaiming our temples. We have to come up reclaiming our lands. We have to come up thinking about negotiating with the government that we have a land chunk. You have to negotiate with us for that land. Give us the land at one place. Let the community be settled at that place. We'll have to do things to force the government of the day to work on those terms. Unless we do that, I think just relating the rhetoric of 35 years makes no difference to the governments, to the political system. It will be again yet another day. Today we are talking about it. Tomorrow morning it will be the history. Let us come up with some new ideas. Let us think about getting together, fighting each one of us for the reclamation of our own land, our motherland. Enough is enough. We know that none of the political parties is serious about us. We will have to get more serious about our own selves and not let ourselves be sold. Let us tell the whole world how we are being treated even today. Let us not be trying to please anyone in any dispensation, whether it is administrative or the political. Let us be upfront. let us be upfront now. We have to tell everybody that yes, we are being used. We have been used in the past. We are being used now, and no more of it now. Nobody is doing anything for us. So let us stand up of our own, talk to our other Hindu organizations, and try to think about how to create our homeland by our own. I think this is something, this message has to go to our youngsters as well. That is the only way that we'll be able to engage our youngsters for the further struggle. Otherwise, our struggle will be lost in next 5 years. Another 5 years, the generation will fade away. There will be no one to take this baton further. So to ignite it further, we'll have to really put a fire into it and allow our younger generations to take the struggle in their own hands and to claim, reclaim, and force all the administrative powers that be to come to them and talk to them. I think this day we should be praying for all our community to come together. We should pray praying for our welfare at the same time, remembering those who lost their lives in those years. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dilipji. Yeah, it does sound.
Neerjaji, I have just a clarification, if you give me
Yes,
10 seconds only. Because now three speakers have spoken about that LG statement. That's
yeah,
actually 2.5 years back. It was an
yes,
interview with Indian Express that is coming up now. It's just like that Ministry of Culture posters, which somebody is trying to, put
utilize,
in the front. Yeah, yeah. Some
benefit.
voters, like we have Ministry of Culture posters, and they depict
Right.
Kheer Bhavani. You get a lot of good kebabs and goshtabas. And like that Aksini event, they are showing Shankaracharya with kebabs. It's just like
Yes,
that. I just
yes.
wanted to clarify, it's a 2.5-year-old interview with Indian Express. Thank you.
Yeah, I was
Thank
going
you.
to clarify that, but thank you, Ravinderji. Yeah, that was very important to mention. We have Kusum Kaul Vyasji, who's been the ex-president of Kashmiri Samaj Gujarat. Welcome. Passionate community worker and very valuable member at GKPD. Kusumji, could you please share your thoughts?
Thank you, Shiphalika ji. Thank you, Nija ji, for inviting me to talk on this prestigious platform and on this day, particularly, and after 35 years. What I feel is that people like me who have lived in Kashmir for 15, 20 years and then moved out, forced to move out, I think we have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders because the emotional connect we have with the valley, with the land, with the trees, with the mountains, with the temples. Our next generation will not have that. So I feel whatever we have to do, it is only we, and we only. We have to do everything. So I would like to list out certain things. As already 6 speakers have spoken before me, I would not like to repeat that. First of all, I would like to say that Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora is a big organization. We have luminaries in this organization. And now that Ravinder Pandita ji, he is such a warrior for our community. He did such a Herculean task of building a temple on the border. So I think both these organizations together, they should hold a conference in the heart of the valley, that is Srinagar. You have to take that step. The way in first century the biggest Buddhist conference took place in Srinagar, in the same way you have to put up the flag, put your foot in the valley. And in that conference, you have to invite chief minister, governor, any MP, central minister, or any person important. And from our community, people who are important to our community, be it a scientist, be it an artist, be it a big businessman, anyone who is important, and our youth, they should attend this conference, and we have to show to the world that whatever we do, we will do it ourselves. We don't need anybody, any government to fight for us. We should do everything ourselves, because we have our senior community members who have done a lot so far in these 30 years. But we have seen what is the result. I think our community is strong enough to do things for ourselves, for themselves. This is the time when the chief secretary of the government is a Kashmiri Pandit. When the foreign secretary is a Kashmiri Pandit. Isn't it this the right time that we hold our own conference and we put our points in the conference, what we want and what we should do? So this is my first request. We are all here, so we are in such positions in today's world that we can do it. I'm sure about it. We can do it. We should not shy away from it. This is my first request to everybody. And second is, many Kashmiri Pandits have so much of land in the valley, and All India Kashmiri, everybody should give their data to All India Kashmiri Samaj, and all other. This can help in a big way when the data is lying with the All India Kashmiri Samaj, with Mr. under the able leadership of Ravinder Panditaji. It will help us in lot many things which I don't want to deliberate at this point. Third is taking charge of the temples. I strongly feel that as Ravinder Panditaji and others, they are doing so much. I went to so many temples in Kashmir when I visited. There is army pickets are there in the temples. Of course, they are there. Government has put them there for the protection of the temples. But I feel there is a need that army should be there, but not that they totally overpower the campus. Let me give you an example. Is Anantnag, Nagbal. The whole temple is covered by the army. The shivling is totally destroyed. But you have money, but you cannot repair it because army is throughout. The army vehicles are inside the temple campus. So we want an army picket there, but not that big. Similarly, I saw in Baramulla. Similarly, I saw in other places. I think we have to work on this with the government, that we need minimum army now in our temples, because we need to protect them. We have money, so we can give the railings, we can make the fences. And my request to all my community members is, please take out at least those who are retired, those who have some time, at least give 1 month in a year to a temple in Kashmir. Stay there as husband and wife. They stay there together and take charge of the welfare of the temple, of any temple of your choice, wherever you want to stay. Let us make a data who wants to go and when. It's a big plan which I have in my mind, which I will share with if someone likes my idea, I will share with the person, so that we can take care of at least our temples which are lying abandoned in the valley. I have four more points. I would like to say that Kashmiri Pandits who are now scattered all over the world, and they are such big positions. There are so many who are in big companies. Some are owners of big business houses. Some are big artists. Can we do one thing? Can we share their success stories so that we know who is who in the world? Which Kashmiri Pandit is doing what? Who has what in the world? We should be able to share their success stories. Someone should take charge of that, put them on Instagram, any social media, so that others are inspired by them. And when someone needs help, they should be there to hold hand. Because I have seen in my community, people talk only about negative things, but they don't share their whatever achievements they have done. whatever big position they are in, if they can employ 10 people, they don't talk about it. They don't want the other person to know about it. They just hide it from each other. This is my observation. I may be wrong. There are many things which I want to share, but I think so many people have spoken about it. So many things. I don't want to repeat that, but I strongly feel we have so many people in our community. We need to share. We need to talk, hold conferences online, know about each other. We are spending so much of our time on marriages, so spending so much of time on our functions. I think there's a lot to be done. I think that's all I want to share. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kusumji. To your point, last point that you said, that we need to know who is doing what, and our community who have reached those heights. We had a month-long Kashmir festival wherein we showcased all those intellectuals, academicians, artists, musicians. It's on YouTube. I think you missed it. It was a month-long event that GKPD had done along with I Am Buddha. If you want, I can share the link with you.
No, what I'm saying, no. It was a month-long festival. That is fine. You know, every day when we scroll through Instagram and certain these come out of it, you can just see them.
We can keep on promoting. We can keep on sharing it.
Yes,
so
exactly. That is the point.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Our last speaker, Kashi Akhunji, sorry for the wait. A social activist from his college days. We know him as a very passionate community worker, our North India coordinator, and Vice President, Kashmiri Civic Samaj Faridabad. Kashiji, please, the floor is yours. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Nirja ji, and thank you, Shapalka ji, for moderating the session. And namaskar to all. After hearing the other eminent speakers of this time, I feel that there is nothing much left for me to speak about. However, I would like to add some few points here. सबसे पहले मैं श्रद्धांजलि देना चाहता हूं अपने उन वीर शहीदों को जिन्होंने भारत माता के लिए और अपने सनातन धर्म के लिए कश्मीर में शहादत दे दी. We were victimized in Kashmir because we were patriotic Indians and we were Hindus. कश्मीर में जो युद्ध चल रहा था, ये एक धार्मिक युद्ध चल रहा था, ये एक इस्लामिक जिहाद था, जिसको आज लोग पॉलिटिकल दंगल के बारे में बताते हैं. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. ये कश्मीर को पूरा इस्लामिक स्टेट डिक्लेयर करने का एक संकल्प था जिहादियों का. एंड आई विल टेल यू, 1990 में जब 19 जनवरी की बात जो हम एक्सोडस डे के रूप में मनाते हैं, ये उसी दिन ही नहीं चला था. ये 1986 में शुरू हुआ था, जब अनंतनाग में हिंदुओं के मंदिरों को जलाया गया था, जब रैंसैक किए गए थे वहां पर मंदिर, जब लोगों के घरों को लूटा गया था. ये दन्यव बोगुड और मैं लुकभवन खुद गया हूं. मैंने देखे वहां पर किस तरह से उन्होंने हिंदू धर्मस्थलों का नाश किया था. वो एक ट्रेलर था और इस ट्रेलर को एक संपूर्ण फिल्म के रूप में उन्होंने 1990 में उतारा कश्मीर में. वो परीक्षा करना चाहते कि हिंदू कम्युनिटी थ्रू द कंट्री उनका क्या रिस्पॉन्स रहेगा इस चीज के लिए. लेकिन उन्होंने देखा कि सारे हिंदुस्तान की जनता सोई हुई है, दे आर इन डीप स्लीप. तो उनका जो ट्रेलर वहां पर था, तो उन्होंने इसको अंजाम दे दिया फिल्म के रूप में. There is nothing left for us in Kashmir. Our movable and immovable property has been snatched from us. The hollow slogan and deceiving word "Bhaichara" has got no meaning for us. 22 जनवरी को मैं सोपोर में था. मैंने देखा कि वहां पर सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस लाउड स्पीकरों पे अनाउंसमेंट कर रहे थे, कर्फ्यू लगा है, किसी को अनुमति नहीं है बाहर रहने की, और लोग धड़ाधड़ सड़कों पर निकल करके पाकिस्तान का झंडा, JKLF का झंडा बिजली पोलों पर लगा रहे थे। पीपल वर नॉट स्कैर्ड। मैं वहां से समट टाकी की तरफ आ गया, मैंने देखा कि हिंदुओं की दुकानों पे गोलियां चली हुई थी, और वहां के जो ढाले थे, डालों के नीचे से मेडिसिन वहां से लीक कर रहा था। मैंने पुलिस की जीप में पाकिस्तान के झंडे देखे। उस दिन जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस ने डिसोबीडियंस किया था एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के साथ में। मुझे लगा कि मैं पाकिस्तान में बैठा हूं, यहाँ तो पाकिस्तान बन चुका है। मैं वापस गया, मैंने टैक्सी वाले से रिक्वेस्ट करी कि हमें बारामूला ले लो, क्योंकि बारामूला मेरे इन-लॉ रहते थे, तो मैंने सोचा वहां पर सेफ जगह है, तो पाकिस्तान बन चुका है। आई हैव पेड 3 times फेयर टू द टैक्सी वाला, एंड मेरी बीवी को वहां से घर से एक बीमार के रूप में लेकर टैक्सी में रखा, और एक अपना दोस्त वहां पर था, उसको मिला, वो वहीं पर खड़े। मैंने कहा क्या कर, बोलते आज न्यू कॉलोनी जो सोपोर की थी सारी खाली हो चुकी, सारे लोग चले गए, सिर्फ 2-3 बंदे हैं यहाँ पर ठहरे। मैंने कहा क्या कर रहे हो, बारामूला चलना है? बोल कहाँ चले? वो मेरे साथ चला। मैं दिल्ली ना पहुंचा तो वहां पर देखा कि एक 400-500 लोग जुलूस में इकट्ठे थे वहां पर। तो अब मैंने सोचा किस तरह निकलूं, बड़ी मुश्किल से अपने आप को मुस्लिम बना करके प्रिटेंड किया कि हमें राह दे दो, हमें बारामूला जाना है, मेरी वाइफ बीमार है। तो कुछ कलिमात मेरे को भी आते हैं वहां पर, तो उनको बता दिया इस तरह से कल श्रीनगर में फायरिंग हुई है, हो सकता बाबा जान की जान भी चली गई है, तो मेरी वाइफ गाड़ी में है, तो हमें बारामूला छोड़ दो, जगह दे दो। तो उन्होंने एक लेडी को मेरी गाड़ी टैक्सी में बिठा दिया, बोले कि इसको साथ ले जाओ, आपको छोड़ देते हैं। तो जो ही लेडी गाड़ी में बैठी, बुरका पोछ थी, 2 सेकंड के बाद देखते कि तो वहां पर एक बंदूक की नली ऊपर से बुरके में थी। शी वॉज नॉट ए लेडी, शी वॉज ए टेररिस्ट। वो जेंट्स था जिसका हमें बाद में पता चला। तो हम देख रहे थे, हम सबके होंठ सूख गए। तो हम बड़ी मुश्किल से जब हम 12 खुशबाग तक पहुंचे, तो खुशबाग में बहुत बड़ा जुलूस था। आई हैव नॉट सीन इन माई लाइफ इतने लोग, कारपेंटर, डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, लोहार, चमार, जमाल, एवरीबॉडी, कलर, हेडमास्टर, टीचर, स्टूडेंट, लेडीज, जेंट्स, बूढ़ी औरतें, छोटे बच्चे, सब लोग सड़कों पर, लाखों लोग, एंड सबके हाथों में कुल्हाड़ियां, किसी के हाथ में तलवार, किसी के हाथ में छुरा, किसी के हाथ में लाठी, और सब लोग हिंदुओं के खिलाफ नारे लगा रहे थे, जित क्या बनाऊं पाकिस्तान, बटो बरोत बटियो सान। उनके स्लोगन थे 2 रोटी खाएंगे लेकिन पाकिस्तान बनाएंगे। यहाँ क्या चलेगा, निजाम मुस्तफा। ऐसे डरावना मौका था। ये सब लोग क्या टेररिस्ट नहीं थे? दे वर ऑल टेररिस्ट। ये लोग जो बोल रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान के टेररिस्ट आए थे, नो, दे वर आवर नेबर्स, दे वर द लोकल रेजिडेंट्स ऑफ कश्मीर, जिन्होंने आपको टेरराइज किया है, जिन्होंने आपको बताया कि आप कश्मीर छोड़ दो। ये 4 जनवरी को अलसफा में एक ऐड आया था हमारे खिलाफ कि कश्मीरी हिंदू, अगर आपको अपना जान बचाना है तो आपको ये घर छोड़ने पड़ेंगे, कश्मीर छोड़ना पड़ेगा। तो मुझे 3 घंटे लगे टैक्सी में, वहां पर एक साइड बैठ के, फिर जुलूस आ गया, फिर लोग आ गए, उन्होंने बोला नहीं क्या हो गया। मैंने कहा भाई बीमार है यार, वो उसको बारामूला लेना है, और बाबा जान की डेथ हो गई है। अब मैं विक्ट्री साइन करके फैरन के नीचे से सिर झुका दबा रहा था, दूसरा साइड मेरा दोस्त भी फैरन के नीचे झुका रहा था, मेरी वाइफ लेटी हुई थी। लोगों ने एक हमारा चारों साइड से घेरा का वो डंडे लेके हमें बोला कि नहीं चलो चलो जुलूस में चलो। और जो लोग सामने आ रहे थे उनको लगा था कोई लीडर जुलूस में आ रहा था। It took me 3 hours from खुशबाग टू बारामूला, एंड तकरीबन 8-10 लाख लोग वहां पर थे उस जुलूस में। इसी तरह से जुलूस चलता रहा। मैं आपको बता दूं, लोग तो जनवरी में निकल गए, मैं तो अप्रैल में कश्मीर से निकल आया। मैंने देखा उनका अत्याचार वो कैसे कर रहे थे, एंड उसमें कोई आज तक भी मुझे नहीं लगता कि उसमें कोई फर्क आया वहां पर। आई डोंट सी टिल 2016, जब तक बुरहान वानी गैंग वहां पर एक्टिव थी, टेररिज्म वाज एट इट्स पीक, बट आई गिव फुल नंबर्स टू मोदी गवर्नमेंट टू हैंडल दिस सिचुएशन विद आयरन हैंड एंड एलिमिनेट द टेररिस्ट्स, जिसने वहां पर जिहादी फोर्स को खत्म किया। The operation all out was instrumental in killing the most of the terrorists. The government gave free hand, the Modi government gave free hand to the armed forces to eliminate the supporters of terrorism. The jihadi forces को eliminate करने के लिए मोदी गवर्नमेंट ने काम किया, otherwise the map of Kashmir would have been different. Abrogation of Article 370 and 15A was the sigh of relief for every Indian, which gave a message to everyone, to Kashmiris, that ये अब नहीं चलेगा यहाँ पर, एंटी इंडिया स्लोगन्स नहीं चलेंगे, आप पाकिस्तान की जायदाद नहीं कर सकते हैं. और वो भी चाहते थे, उनको भी पता था, वो मोड़ते थे कि कोई फैसला होना चाहिए, एंड वो फैसला, वो वर्डिक्ट आया, एंड पार्लियामेंट से आया वर्डिक्ट, एंड आर्टिकल 370 और 15A के हटने के बाद में वहां पर लोगों को पता चला कि हम हिंदुस्तान के साथ बैर नहीं रख सकते हैं. उसके बाद में जितने भी वहां पर डेवलपमेंट हुई है कश्मीर में, आप देख रहे हैं बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट लग रहे हैं. कश्मीर में इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट खुल गया, IIT खुल गए, मेडिकल कॉलेज खुल गए, हॉस्पिटल खुल गए, डिग्री कॉलेज खुल गए, इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज खोल दिए, एंड मैनी एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन वहां पर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने वहां पर लगाए. लोगों के हाथ में तलवारें थी, लोगों के हाथ में बंदूक थे, लोगों के हाथ में छुरियां थी, पत्थर थे, उसको ट्रांसफर कर लिया एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन की तरफ से. वहां पर जो प्रेयर पत्र थे, न घबराओ मुसलमानों, अभी कुरान बाकी है, अभी इस्लाम जिंदा है, अभी इंसान बाकी है, वो सब खत्म हो गया. अब वहां पर तो फिर जन गण मन का शुरू हो रहा है वहां पर. तो मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि जिस तरह से कश्मीर में डेवलपमेंट पाथ चल रहा है, हमारा कश्मीर बन रहा है, तो मुझे खुशी है इसमें, क्योंकि दैट कश्मीर बिलोंग्स टू मी. कश्मीर जहन्नम नहीं होना चाहिए था. कश्मीर को दोबारा स्वर्ग बनाने का जो काम कर रहा है, मुझे उसमें बहुत खुशी है. और मुझे खुशी इस बात की भी है कि वहां पर जो जिहादी लोग थे उनको मारा गया, उनको जेलों में डाला गया. मुझे इस चीज की भी खुशी है. मुझे और इस चीज की भी खुशी है कि वहां पर जो लोगों की हत्याएं हो रही थी, जो टेररिस्ट जो थे, जो विधवाएं उन्हें बनाई, जो वहां के लोगों को भी के ऊपर भी अत्याचार कर रहे थे, मुझे उसकी भी खुशी है कि वो अत्याचार बंद हो गया. और वहां पर जो जितने लोग थे, जितने लोग वहां पर कर रहे थे, वो दफ्तरों से आए थे, जो टेररिज्म थे. वह आपके पड़ोसी थे, पड़ोसी ने हमको मारा. वहां पर सर्रा भट्ट को पड़ोसी ने मारा, उनके घर में थी वो. तो ये कल्पना जो हमारे मन में है कि अब वहां पर ठीक हो गया है, ये सब फ्रॉड है, इट्स ऑल नॉनसेंस. अभी वहां पर कुछ ऐसा नहीं बदला है कि हम लोग वहां पर जाएंगे घर में. क्या कारण है कि 35 साल से कोई घर वहां पर बना नहीं? जितने हमारे कहां पर है घर? हम तो घर चले जाएंगे, किस घर चले जाओगे? अपने घरों में जाएंगे, कहां पर रहेंगे? वो घर तो जला दिए गए, घर तो लूटे गए. देयर इज नो होम. हमारी बेस भी वहां पर निकाल, जो पत्थर उतरा जमीन में, वो भी निकाली गई है. देयर इज नथिंग लेफ्ट. तो किस घर में जाएंगे? तो ये हॉलो स्लोगन जो है, हम आपको वेलकम करेंगे, रेड कार्पेट वेलकम है, ये सब फ्रॉड है. और गवर्नमेंट को हम बोलते हैं कि हम 35 साल से हम गवर्नमेंट से एक ही रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि हमको वापस दीजिए. और दैट देयर ड्यूटी, दे आर ड्यूटी बाउंड. दे हैव फेल्ड टू प्रोटेक्ट अस इन इंडिया. छोटी सी माइनॉरिटी वहां पर थी, उसकी सुरक्षा नहीं दे पाए. हमारी औरतों के साथ जो हुआ है, दिस इज टोटल जेनोसाइड हैज बीन थ्रोन अस. दिस नॉट ए सिंपल वर्ड. तो वहां पर कश्मीर को आज के डेट में देखो, कितने वर्ल्ड क्लास रोड्स बन रहे हैं, वर्ल्ड क्लास आपने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप किया हुआ है. आपने हजारों वहां पर नए टूरिस्ट हब्स क्रिएट कर रहे हो आप. यू आर मेकिंग दिस अ वर्ल्ड क्लास टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन.
Absolutely.
और हजारों लोगों को आपने स्कॉलरशिप दे दिया, प्राइम मिनिस्टर स्कॉलरशिप उनके लिए है. हजारों बच्चों को वहां से फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट उनको मेडिकल कॉलेजों में उनकी फीस जो होती है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया बियर करती है. और इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में उनका एडमिशन है. उनकी पढ़ाई के लिए, उनकी देखभाल के लिए, उनकी डेवलपमेंट के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने वैसा अपनी जान निछावर करी है उनके लिए. एंड व्हाट फॉर वी पीपल, हमारे लिए क्या हुआ? हमारा ब्लड जो अब भी उन सड़कों पर है, दे आर अनवॉश्ड, अभी उसका नहीं हुआ. अभी किसी ने हमारी शुद्ध भी नहीं ले ली. अभी किसी का FIR भी नहीं हुआ, फांसी नहीं हुई किसी को, जिन्होंने माना है कि हमने हिंदू का कत्ल किया है, जिन्होंने ओपनली एक्सेप्ट किया है.
जी,
दे आर फ्री. अरे कहाँ की डेमोक्रेसी यार? किस चीज की डेमोक्रेसी? क्या बात कर रहे हो आप? आप पंडितों को देखो, आपने पंडितों के साथ क्या किया? आपने वहां पर इनके कच्चे मकान बना दिए, वहां पर जुम्मू में आपने कैंप बना दिए। लोग बोलते हैं कि कैंप से टेंट से उठा करके कैंप में डाल दिया। व्हाट इज दिस नॉनसेंस? हम क्या टेंट के लायक थे? हमें टेंट में डाल दिया। अपनी कमजोरी आप छुपा रहे हो। यू आर नॉट इन a position to handle this country. What nonsense are you doing? लोगों को टेंट में डाल दिया, हजारों लोग मर गए बच्चों से। और फिर आपका एहसान हमारे ऊपर है, आपने टेंट को खत्म करके हमको वहां पर एक कैंप बना दिया, जो माइग्रेंट कैंप जगती है, पुरको है, दूसरी जगह है। और द कंस्ट्रक्शन देखो आप क्या है,
अनलिवेबल,
अनबियरेबल। आप की लगाओ दीवार में, वो दीवार टूट जाती है,
अनलिवेबल।
और आप उनका गुणगान कर रहे हो कि भाई कांग्रेस ने जी हमारे लिए वहां पर क्या बनाया, क्या खाक है। और सब ह्यूमन कंडीशन वहां पर लोग रह रहे हैं। वहां पर पार्क, देयर इज नो सैनिटेशन एट ऑल, देयर इज नो मेडिकल हेल्थ, देयर इज नथिंग, देयर डोंट नो ड्रेनेज सिस्टम, देयर इज नो मेंटेनेंस। दे हैव सफर्ड बिकॉज ऑफ योर इनेबिलिटी। मोदी जी ने ऐलान किया है कश्मीरी हिंदुओं के साथ है, कश्मीरी हिंदुओं को दोबारा भेजेंगे जी। 10 साल से हम सुन रहे हैं, नॉट ए रिस्पाइट। ठीक है, वहां पर तो हालत आपने ठीक कर ली, हम सब आपकी खुशामद करते हैं। हमें सब पता है कि कश्मीर ठीक हो गया तो भारत ठीक हो गया। हवाई जहाज को अगवा करने वाले कश्मीरी के लोग थे
जी।
आपको पार्लियामेंट में बम ब्लास्ट करने वाले कश्मीर के लोग थे, हमें पता है। लेकिन भाई हम तो नहीं थे ना, वी वर हिंदू, वी हैव नॉट डन एनीथिंग रॉन्ग टिल डेट। आप हमारा फोटो किसी भी थाने में नहीं देखोगे। वी आर क्राइम फ्री कम्युनिटी, वी हैव नॉट डन एनी रॉन्ग टू एनीबॉडी। इवन कि उनको भी, जिन्होंने हमको वहां से निकाला, उनके प्रति भी हमने किसी को नहीं मारा। एट लीस्ट यू शुड डू समथिंग। कश्मीर जो हमारे कैंपों की हालत है, कम से कम उसको तो ठीक करिए यहाँ पर। एंड डोंट टेक दिस बेंचमार्क कि आपको टेंट में थे, अभी हमने वहां पर मकान दे दिया है। डिस्गस्टिंग। सेकंड, जो रिलीफ पर वहां पर लोग बैठे हुए हैं 2018 से बाद में, उनको रिलीफ नहीं बढ़ाया गया। 3,500 एक बंदे का एक महीने का खर्चा। व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज नथिंग। आप क्यों कर रहे हो ये? व्हाई यू आर डूइंग दिस? आप उनको बढ़ाते क्यों नहीं हो? यू हैव नॉट डन एनीथिंग फॉर देम। वो आप अपील कर रहे हैं, बार बार आपको बोल रहे हैं, और दिस ऑल गो टू ड्रेन्स। ये डेफ ईयर दे रहे हैं, लोग मर रहे हैं। दिल्ली में देखो, दिल्ली में 9 महीने से उनको रिलीफ नहीं दिया जाता है। दे हैव नॉक्ड एवरी डोर। और कुछ लोग ही हैं, चंद लोग हैं, नॉट द ऑल कश्मीरी। 5 लाख लोग मांग रहे हैं। देयर आर 5,000 जिनके घर में गुजारा नहीं हो रहा है, जिनके पास कोई सहारा नहीं है, जो इस रिलीफ पर है। बट एटलीस्ट यू शुड हैव सम कर्टसी टू डू दिस। 9 महीने से उनको है नहीं। आज भी एक बंदा आ रहा है, कल दूसरा बंदा आ रहा है, आज भी कुछ करेंगे, कल दूसरा करेंगे, आज देखेंगे। व्हाट इज दिस यार? क्या पेनी 3,000 रुपए पर मंथ एक बंदे को दे रहे हो? 100 रुपए चावल का किलो है, और 100 रुपए देते हो एक फैमिली के। व्हाट इज दिस? तो मैं समझता हूँ कि हमारे साथ जो अन्याय हो रहा है पिछले 35 साल से, उसमें आज तक कोई रिस्पाइट नहीं है। साथ में मैं एक और बात कहना चाहता हूँ कि यही मोदी गवर्नमेंट से हमारी आशा है कि ये गवर्नमेंट जो है, इसकी एबिलिटी है, इनकी कैपेबिलिटी है, एंड यूटी सरकार जो आज के डेट में आई है, वो दोनों मिलके कश्मीर हिंदुओं को दोबारा कश्मीर में बसा सकते हैं। ये उनकी ड्यूटी है। अब हम जाएं तो जाएं कहाँ? दर्द भी फारूक अब्दुल्ला से मैं कहना चाहता हूँ, दर्द भी उसका ही है, और जो दर्द दिया उसने दिया है, और इसकी दवा भी उसी को देनी चाहिए। नहीं तो उसका नाम उन काले अक्षरों में लिखा जाएगा, उन लोगों में लिखा जाएगा जिन्होंने हमारे ऊपर जेनोसाइड थोपा है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। इसके साथ ही मैं अपना वाणी को यहाँ पर विराम देना चाहता हूँ। Thank you for hearing me. Now back
Thank
to
you so much.
Shafal
That was a passionate one coming from your heart. I totally agree with you. While we can do everything on our own, but we cannot absolve central government and government of union territory of their responsibilities. It's not our job to reestablish ourselves. हमको सरकार ने करना है हमारे लिए, and we have to make sure that they do it. उसके लिए फाइट जारी है, and we have to collectively do it. While our loss is unfathomable, suffering is immense. We wish for justice to come through, closure to our pain, collective pain. And this is 4 generations in our lifetime. 35 years of our exodus have suffered, and this is going to trickle down to the rest of the generation. That's what we need to remember. 4 generations have already suffered in this genocide of Kashmiri Pandits. I would like to take a moment to pay respectful homage to all those who were taken away, snatched from us during that period of 89, 90, and post 90, and who are suffering even now in camps, places where that are not livable. We have to collectively do something. So thank you so much. I would now let Shafalika ji conclude. Thank you so much for this today.
Thank you, Nirja ji, and thank you all our esteemed panelists. It's been quite some time. It's getting very late in India, but thank you all for joining. I would like to individually thank you all. Ravinder Pandita ji from Save Sharda Committee, Upar Kotu ji from Kashmir Overseas Association, Ashwini Barchi from KPA Mumbai, Sanjay Ganju and Dilip Matuji from Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch, Kusum Kol Vyas ji from Kashmiri Samaj Gujarat, Kashi Akhunji from GKPD, R.K. Matuji from Kashmir Hindu Cultural Trust, Bangalore, and Ram Avtar Bhattji from Youth All India Kashmiri Samaj. Thank you all for joining. Thank you to the audience for bearing with us. It's been a very long webinar, but it was very timely. I would also at the end like to thank our hosts, TRN Network, Rohit Bhattji and Rakesh Bhattji. You have been really, really kind to host us today. And thank you all for your expertise and thank you for hosting this today. And on that note, wish you all a very good night and namaskar.
Namaskar.